Good morning, everyone. Welcome in the first session of interaction of land use and transportation. So in that specific course or subject, we will try to understand that what are the different land use and its multi-faced dimension and its dynamics. Okay, how the land use related decision or land use developmental decision can affect the related decision of the behavior, or how it can affect the decision of the transportation developer, and how land development take place. In that specific session, we will try to understand different theories so that to understand the underlying of the land use transportation interaction through different modeling. Along with we will also try to understand the role of the special interaction theory so that to understand that how to provide the optimal service location for the better accessibility, for the better mobility, and also to achieve the induced transportation concept. Okay. You can also search all my lecture. Just search my name in YouTube, Professor Dr. Asim Farooq, and just click here on the playlist. You can cover varieties of the session related to transportation, railway, intelligent transportation system, along with research methodology as well. Okay, so those are the different playlists. You can just click on any, and you can cover the whole session. So today we will try to understand that what a good land use is, or how the land use transportation decision can or could take place. The first thing is we need to understand that how likely demand on the transportation system. The second thing is how to plan the cost effective public transportation system. Okay. So if we try to understand the land use and transportation a bit closely and try to relate it with the urban area, so any change within the land use which affect the demand of the transportation system. So this is basically the multi-phased two-way interaction between transportation and the land use. So the more accessibility or mobility we need more land use. In a very simple word, for example, if this is your city, and here we have the arterial already built network, we have tramways, we have railway lines, we have underground station, but with passage of time, the migration from the rural area is increasing and the population is also increasing. So how we can tackle up is a result. We need more roads to accommodate people and to make the city less congestion. So now what we need to understand in this subject, do we have more land? Do the authorities will allow us to build more land use, to use more land? So those are the concepts which we will try to understand, because we need to understand the two concepts. The first one is we will look at how land use and transportation decision affect each other, because we need to fulfill the people demand, but again also to provide and also to give the induced sustainable development model as well. So at the same time, we need to balance transportation side as well to fulfill and to provide more accessibility and people demand. But in the other hand, we also need to see and examine the ways in which land can be considered in transportation planning. As you can see here, this is our city before. For example, just take the example like 20 year before in like 1990. And then this is the current situation in 2010. So that specific city is connected through different metro lines. Those are the roads, those are tramways. So at the end, before in 1990, with a specific population, only that area was under the use, or like you can call that, it only that pattern was used. But now its impact is actually reached to like that place. So now in this subject, we will try to interact through urban transport and land use, and also through that specific exercise or through that specific example, you can understand that how the thinking to invest more in extension of the public transportation. And for that public transportation, we will require more land use as well. So for example, if this is the city in 1990, but then after 20 years, so more people are actually traveling for like work, for the better health facilities, for the commercial activity. So we need to extend our the transportation infrastructure. But now you need to understand the city limitation as well, okay? City limitation in terms of land use, okay? Or land use development or settlement. So that specific city, just consider as an example that that specific city after 20 years, they have already built different road network, different tramways, different metro lines, and all of them are operating. So there is a very small room to extend or provide more lanes, because most of the people of the low income people live in like that specific part. We will also try to understand the concept of the urban sprawl as well. We will also try to understand rapid development as well, and so that how we can maintain the sustainable development while using the concept of the urban sprawl and connect it with the rapid development. So for example, after some time, after 2010, after 20 years, the new elected setup, either in form of a mayor or like political elected people, so now they want to extend and build more metro lines, more roads. So now the question is that how that specific decision to create more mobility, more accessibility option in terms of a land use. Are Do we have available land use? Can we build more area? So those are the questions which we need to consider. If we try to understand the land use refers or what is basically land use. So land use actually refer to any human development or any land development activities, which actually changes the land or from like vegetation to like natural area, or from like natural area to like built area kind of in form of a recreational spot, parks, and then the same could be converted into the different roads or like railways. So that specific change from agriculture to residential, and how we can construct more facilities in the form of a micro level human development and macro level human development. So first of all, we need to understand that in the macro level, we are trying to understand the size, the shape, location, and any particular area. Okay. Uh, and then we have the micro level concept, where we are trying to understand that what are the different land use types, such as residential, recreational, commercial, industrial. And then we try to understand density. or intensity to use. For example, we need to allocate, for example, how many people per unit area. Why we are using the unit of a per unit area? Because of course, every city landscape, every city planned area vary from place to place. For example, if we have 10,000 square area, so that per unit is equal to 1 square of that specific city. And then we have the third point, which we called diversity. Okay. So when we try to understand the concept of the diversity, here we are trying to understand the the mixed uses of that specific land. Okay, so mixed use also relate to the transit oriented development as well, which we called TOD. So within TOD, for example, if this is our city, for example, 10 kilometer, what if we provide the all the facilities such as health, educational, commercial, residential, recreational within 5 kilometer, and this specific part is connected through public transport, then what will happen? People will not travel. They will fulfill that journey, that demand, that requirement either through public transport or either through pedestrian ways such as skating, bledding, and so on, or through cycle, which we call NMT as well, non-motorized transportation. And then the last part we have the design, how those buildings, those sites, those heights, those setbacks actually look like. For example, if I give you example of a Munich city, Germany, which is called München, so they do not allow the more like multi high-rise building, or which we call skyscraper. So like they do not allow more than 3-story building, because this is the people intention that they want to see the open sky when they come from the underground station. So this is the concept of the design within any specific city according to those people demand, which is received to public opinion poll or through the public participation within the design. This is the concept of the rapid growth. Rapid population or rapid growth actually encourage and continue to drive massively and consume different land, and it's also converted a lot of agriculture and recreational land to the residential purposes. That also actually trigger the concept of the urban sprawl as well, because for example, if this is our city central part, with passage of time, the rises, the that land parcel price will increase maybe 5 to 10 times higher. What will happen? The people will not able to afford it. And then what they will do for the economical, or which we call cheap land prices, they will go to the outskirt through in within this direction, within this direction, and within this direction. So what will happen? They will also disturb that agriculture part as well. Along with that agriculture part, they will also build their own houses, which will might be not be approved from the local administration, and which will also not be part of that city council vision and mission part as well. So the urban sprawl is basically that triggering element which pushes more people towards the outskirt. Okay. And of course, those cities often do not have the financial ability to meet the same demand. And then at the end of the day, what happened? It is quite hard for addressing the congestion problem, while in the form of, for example, if in that direction we have now 4 lanes after the urban sprawl and like more rapid expansion. So after maybe 10 year or like 15 year, now we need to build road in like that direction. Now we need another one in like that direction, in like that direction, and so on. So maybe after again 30 to 40 years, after 8 lanes, so that might be we need 4 more lanes as well. Okay. So this is the concept that how rapid growth, urban sprawl, and then in future we might face sustainability. Now the question is, should we not build more road, or should we reduce the population? What we should do? So this is the concept which we will try to understand through different. First of all, it's very important that the all professionals and researcher, they should understand that what is the role of land use within transportation, how we can provide the people demand in a transportation planner, and then how we can fulfill and increase mobility accessibility as well, and then how we can bring the concept of the sustainable transportation development within any city. Okay, so this is the core purpose of this specific subject. This is another concept which is called the integrated land use transport or the transportation planning. So just let me just give you one example. This is Q means flow, which we usually measure it within vehicle per hour, and this is our speed. Okay. So, and at this end, so for example, this is 1 lane, and then 2 lane, and then 3 lane, and then 4 lane, and then 5 lane, and now we reach here. So this just gave us that, first of all, in 1980, when we, for example, when we built road, so we had 500 maybe vehicles. The speed was like approximately here, 120. Okay. And then after building 4 lanes, so now that growth reached to 3000, and the speed is reduced to like 90. And then after increasing it to the 5 lane, so it's again reached to like 50. So now the question is where we should stop. Should we build 6 lane? Should we build 7 lane? And you can see the pattern that tandem is actually going down. With passage of time, there will be a time that we will come up with the new pattern as here. So like maybe after building 9 lanes, might be we end somewhere here, which is 30 kilometers. So in a smart way, or to thinking in the sustainable way, so it is not necessary to build more road, but we need to build the through the sustainable development, and also to adopt transit oriented development concept, and that should be connected with the pedestrian facilities and the built environment. So now the question is, if we are thinking about mobility, transportation, and accessibility, so should we not provide more mobility? Of course we should, but how and at what cost? Okay, so this is very much important, that which activity will take place, because you just need to understand one thing. Whenever we talk about mobility, mobility means how we can move without hustle, easiness to travel, easiness to move from one place to another place. That doesn't mean that we need only to fulfill that demand through road. We have a lot of alternative. So now this is again the concept of those transportation developer, that how they provide mobility and how they fulfill those the people travel demand, and how much it cost, even the environment, and of course the financial and in the economical ways as well. Okay. And then of course we have the transportation different system which connect through different modes. And then we have the accessibility. So how the ability to reach to any desire or to fulfill any activity. So we need to think smartly, and we need to think through sustainable, or we need to build the sustainable model within any city. So how the interaction of land use actually connect, or supply is connected with those 4 Ds. And then again, the same land use is connected with the demand. You just need to understand when we need to supply or provide more supply, we need to use more land. And then we need to think in those directions: density, diversity, design, and location. Density again means the how different activity per unit and within per land are taking place. And when we talk about diversity, that means that the planner have that sense of mind so that they can push or use or develop the same land through the max use, what kind of design they have and where we need to build. So when those four questions are answered, then we need to provide and increase the accessibility. For that, again, through that demand, again we provide the and fulfill the supply. So land use or land make patterns, which are basically activity based. So with more activity, more land will be required. Okay, but again we need to see that how uh, that specific constraint or demand can affect the transportation demand, and how many people can facilitate through that new supply line. So now the question is there any way out? So this is a very typical example. So whenever we want to increase mobility and accessibility, we need more land. And we, of course, with passage of time, value of the land is increasing. And then new developmental projects come up, bubble up, which also increase more trips and more people travel. And then, of course, after some time, for example, planning for like 20,000 people. So now after 5 years or maybe after 10 years, we need planning for like 80 people. So of course, more improvements are like required. And then of course, more transportation facilities are also needed. So what is its solution? Do we have only one single option to build more and more? So now this is a very important concept or very important term which encourage new land developmental project, often or usually in the outskirts. So urban sprawl also occur when the new undeveloped within that specific outskirt, and those new projects also increase more people to travel and also generate or create more demand where toward the uh, toward the overcrowded area. So what will happen next? We are big from where we start. So it's not only just to build more lanes or like more or building more transportation infrastructure is the only solution. So we need to think smartly. So now in this specific slides, you can imagine that more transportation investment can have unexpected effects on the traffic as well. So when cities first started making transportation capacity in form of improvement just to solve the congestion problem, instead they found the traffic level increase, they only increase its capacity. So this is congestion. Again, it's widen, and then again we have congestion. So that doesn't mean that at this stage we have two lane, at this stage we have four, at this stage we have six. So what we need to do, we need to induce demand and we need to demand without improvement. So now we need to understand that this increase in traffic is known as increase or induced demand. Induced demand can be defined as that increment of a new traffic. Because, for example, at this stage we have 200 vehicle, at this stage we have 600, at this stage we have 1,000. So expansion of lanes or building more lanes will not solve that specific problem. What we should do, we should provide more vehicles. We should also provide the which we called non-motorized transportation. So in order to reduce congestion and also to build the sustainable economy. However, it have of course we can control the air pollution, more energy consumption, noise pollution, environmental constraint, and so on. Okay. This is the concept of the special development which driven the transportation supply with passage of time. So you can have a look that at 1700, what was the condition and the speed. Of course, with passage of time, the demand of the speed for like to build more and more like lanes or like road. For example, in Germany, they have the Autobahn, so where you can go at your own speed, like you can maintain any level. Okay, so this is again demand. So what will happen after some time might be they require, although Germany have one of the most amazing, sustainable and integrated transportation networking and development. But of course, with attracting more car, so that will actually create more issues and more problems. Thank you very much for the today first session. I hope that you people might have some questions so you can get back in the comment section. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.